Hello everyone, my name is Andrzej Krzywda. This is my almost daily vlog where I present some thoughts and opinions from a perspective of a developer and kind of a business person. In one of my last videos, I told you I'm going to attend, to see the Blade Runner 2049 movie. I was there. In short, it was amazing. This video is full of spoilers, so if you didn't watch the movie and don't want to have it spoiled, that's a good moment to stop the video. You have been warned. I watched this movie, as very often I do with any kind of movies. I somehow have this weird feeling that I want to think how I would connect the word from the movie with how I would actually design from a programmer's perspective. So what techniques would I use to model the world using the techniques I know? And Blade Runner is full of such situations, and I wanted to tell you, I want just to touch on several of them. The first one is actually about the concept called typing. I'm a Ruby programmer, so I use the concept of dynamic typing, and I see it as a strength, not as a weakness. But the whole concept relies on the fact that in Ruby we follow what we call duck typing. And duck typing means that, in short, if it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So the idea is that we don't have to implement a real interfaces or inherit from some special abstract classes in order to pass this object to a special, as a perimeter, to some special method. And even without declaring this will work as long as I have the methods with the right signatures available in this object. This is called duck typing. I can just pass an object, and as long as it behaves as something that we can use in this new context, it's all fine. So during the whole movie, I just kept thinking about duck typing and the role of androids, replicants here, and how hard for us, the watchers, is to distinguish between who is a real human and who is just an android. And here is the main spoiler here. I was amazed by this scene when we learn that, I suppose that many of people who watch the movie think at some point that K is actually a real human. Then we learn that he's not. But somehow we still are very empathetical, and we still feel sympathy to this character, even though he's not a real human, apparently. And obviously, as an android kind of thing, it's very hard to say, like, how can we call who is a real human, who is not. Replicants, obviously, they have much better features. They are faster, stronger, and so on. But at the same time, they are not real humans in the meaning, like the way they were created or born is much different, but still they have some or a lot of biological, they're bioorganisms in many ways. So that's one point, duck typing, and we still enjoy the movie even though we are not sure about certain characters. We still probably don't know who is Decker. Is he a replicant or is he a human? But even in the first part we didn't know it. Here it's still, I think it's not clear, at least not to me. So that's something that we are left with, thinking that we are not sure, but I think many of the watchers should feel sympathy here. Another point is about the scene where we have one of the replicants, a replicant, but at this moment we still don't know he's a replicant, and Joy is a more like AI bot, I would say. So she is just a hologram here. And she's an android, and the whole, I will not go into details, but the whole sex scene does make you wonder about where is the difference between, like, again, about duck typing, but also like where is the difference between an AI bot and a kind of an android, so more biological than this character, and this scene, I think it shows nicely that she wasn't enough of a duck typing woman to go to be presented in the sex scene. So she arranged. Well, the whole thing is just, I'm still not sure if it's a bigger plot here that she actually contacted her, but overall, this the problem with AI bot not being able to have a body while the androids, they have bodies. So that's, yeah, okay. Another thing from a developer perspective is which one would be a good representation? There was this scene about, oh, that one is good, where you walk and you see the models here. The models, I'm sure what's the proper name here, but overall those are the models of replicants, different kinds of models, different series. And I kept wondering about the production of them, and one in the imaginary world of this movie, but also if I would have to model, if I had to model this in some kind of programming techniques, I kept wondering about the inheritance technique I would use here. So is it a typical class inheritance, typical as in class-oriented languages? Or maybe it's more like prototypical inheritance, so more like in JavaScript. And I'm still not sure, like, how would I model this in my in my code. The fourth point is about replicants. They have to. Replicant can only be detected by means of a fictional void-conf tests. So we try to recognize, we as the real humans in this world, we try to recognize whether someone is a replicant by detecting how emotional they get, which in a way probably answers the question that that they're not real humans if they have too much emotions, but at the same time, they seem to gather emotion, be more emotional over time, and the history of replicants in the Blade Runner movie shows that they can get emotions. We also have this nice aspect of installing memories into someone's mind, which again, from an implementation perspective, is quite an interesting challenge. Like, obviously, we can imagine implementation where the memories do impact your current decision, or the characters or the replicant's decision, and then why would we want to install those memories or others, and how exactly would they be used in making the decision from a character perspective. So I can imagine all those replicants being implemented as actors, for example. They have their own goals, they're not depending on other things too much, they can live their own lives, but at the same time we kind of know that we at some points we're able to detect. I think that's all the points from my list. There is more. This movie, I find it very deep, and I didn't actually expect it to be that good. The whole production, the whole graphics and special effects, I think is becoming one of my favorite sci-fi movies, along with, for example, with The Matrix. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.